Welcome to the Founders Music Lab, the music and startup community. Well, we are learning as we go, and as you'll find out in today's episode, we learned the necessity for defining rules and guidelines early. As I say this, we already have 6 episodes recorded. The intent was to produce 6 episodes before we released any. This gave us an opportunity to clarify for ourselves what worked and what didn't, and gave us a chance to make changes before setting the rules. One key rule that we figured out was that you needed to know why your guest was relevant to the music and the startup community at the beginning. Seems obvious, but sometimes the obvious gets overlooked. So to that end, this week we talked to Blake Schwartz. Blake is the GM of Ennios Italian restaurants in the Waterloo region. He's one of Ed's best friends, and when Ed suggested him, we didn't quite get why he would fit. Neither did Blake, for that matter. He's not a musician, and he's not a founder. As it turned out, though, what he is probably the most critical person for a musician or a founder. Without someone like Blake, there's very little chance for survival. Ennio and his wife Rosa had the secret sauce, literally. But Blake made it profitable and sustainable. Amongst other things, we also learned that you are never too late to start, which is actually good for us. Lots of laughs and lots of fun. We hope you enjoy this week's episode. Now on to the show. This episode brought to you by Eco Coffee. Be sure to visit Eco Cafe in the village of St. Jacobs. We're pleased to offer Eco Coffee products on our website at foundersmusiclab.com. Welcome to episode number 3 on our Founders Music Lab.
3, did you say?
Yeah. Okay, we invited Blake Schwartz here. He thought we've been doing this forever, and he thought we were professional, but he's learning that we're learning. This is a podcast about creators and builders. It's a podcast about our journey. What started out as Steve and I going out for coffee, even though he doesn't drink coffee, and talking about our woes and figuring out what we were going to do next. We decided that we wanted to ultimately leverage our skills. Steve, as mentioned in all our previous 2 podcasts, is our music genius. And while we were sitting there, we thought we should bring some guys in and open up this conversation. And Ed Denier from Eco Cafe and Eco Coffee, not Echo, but Eco, decided to join us, and we realized that we had something good going, and we're going to continue it in our podcast, and we're building something together. We don't know exactly what, but that's the whole idea of creation. And we're excited that all 2 or 3 of you who are listening to this are joining us.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. I'm trying to get my wife to listen, but she's been listening to me too much. So today we invited a friend of ours, a mutual friend of Ed and myself, Blake Schwartz. Blake is the head chef and general manager.
Hold on. Before we give him the reins, we're gonna finish the intro, and then I'm gonna add something here.
Oh, okay. Okay, before we intro,
Blake.
I don't know what's going on, so it's all good.
Anyways, so Ed's here too with us, and apparently wants to say something. This is not my show. This is our show. Shut up, Bill.
I just want to say, Blake, thanks for coming by. Blake's a special person in my life and has been for the last few years. He's a maker, he's a doer, he's a partaker, and he's equal mindset. So it's fun to have the right people to converse with about the right things. And we've been through voyages, we've been through ordeals, we've been through a lot of golf. So it's fun to have friends on that you've done lots of things with. So welcome, Mr. Blake.
Thanks.
Well, tell us about Blake then. I was about to say what his background
Blake, tell us
is.
about yourself. So I'll ask questions about what you do, but you tell us from your history how you are, why I considered you a maker the other day.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough question, I guess. But I mean, just it really stems from my family, really. But not any family business, but a just the support from them and whatever. But just in the restaurant business, I started so long ago. I was 16, just as a busboy in high school, and worked my way up. That was a charcoal steakhouse, and there's rules, I guess, that I can't have my beer in my hand.
Rookie podcasters. We've been at it for so long now. We learned you don't tap your can.
Anyway, I appreciate the words from Ed anyway, but it's the restaurant business is kind of at the charcoal is where I got going, met people. That's how I met Ed, is through the restaurant business and his coffee business. So,
How long has it been?
So you worked with the
we've known
Weidmans?
each other? I was trying to think about this the other morning.
Oh yeah, the Weidmans were.
Why did we not talk about this?
A big part of my life. Actually.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I was the first general manager of the water park.
Oh yeah, at Sports World
At Sports World.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Weidmans were great for me in so many ways, but yeah, that's how I met Ed through Ennios, is where I'm at now, and just developed sort of a friendship through golf, which is a big part of my life as well, and here we are talking on a podcast that I didn't expect to be in.
Surprise! Perfect. We'll dig into it. We'll dig into more.
You have to ask questions.
What's the thing about the Weidmans? I'm not from here, so I don't understand that whole.
Well,
segue.
the Weidmans, Del Weidman, opened up the charcoal steakhouse on where the Highway Market Zehrs is.
Charcoal Pit actually was
The charcoal
before that.
pit.
Before
It was in
that.
that plaza.
It was in that-
I used to shop. That's the first Zehrs I ever shopped at. But it was already
Yeah,
converted.
no, it was the Highway Market. It was
Yeah.
called the Highway Market.
And
It was this
Ennios
old
was
store.
right behind it. And
No, charcoal.
No, charcoal.
no, but like down, like on the other entrance to that section was Ennios was born there too.
No.
Wasn't it a road over on
No.
King? No.
River Road in Old King.
Okay. Anyway, I thought it was in
Lorraine.
behind Highway Market was the original Ennios too.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, but then they moved to Weber and Fairway Road,
Current location.
location. I heard that was sold. There's an anyway. I'm spreading rumors. Who knows? They opened a couple of restaurants in there, and then they also opened up Pioneer Sports World, which had eventually the Moose Winooski's, right?
Yeah, it used to be called, what was the name before Moose? Rafters.
Right. Oh,
right.
nice. Right.
I remember that.
But that was a story of creation. Like he was Del Weidman, Don Nurse, and
Yep.
who's the other one? Construction guy. Siegmiller. Yes.
Yeah.
Is it Bill?
I think they're still with them, even doing the Wildcraft and.
Are they
Beer
still involved
Towns.
with that?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
But I can't verify that. But
Yeah. Well, that was a long time ago. But that was quite the venture.
so you're at the Moose or
I was
the water park?
I was the water park. I was the first
awesome.
manager.
Come on.
They called me
You were the
Rolly.
water-
They called me Rolly Waters.
Dude, I had a job sprinkling fairways, but it never worked at a water park.
It's like
That's
going to a
awesome.
circus.
It was awesome.
It's like
in
Wally
more ways
World?
than one.
Yeah.
Wally
in more
World?
ways
What
than
was
one.
the name of it? The water park?
It was Sports World Water Park.
It was a great water park. Actually.
That's amazing.
Pioneer Sports.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Forget the tired old morning jolt. Why settle for a mere pick-me-up when you can have a taste of bliss that pulses through you like the opening chords of your favorite song? Eco Coffee's original blends don't just start your day right, they awaken it with an enchantment, a deep, resonant pleasure. We're talking about that sexual healing kind of morning joy, a sensation that lingers long after the last drop. You can never go wrong with a little morning bliss that feels this good.
And now, back to the podcast. Yeah, that's the thing about this community that we live in, is there's so much creation, building, innovation. KW, relatively speaking, from a world perspective, is not a huge place. Yet we've had so many creators and builders come out of this area. There's something in the water, definitely.
Good for you guys to recognize that. I've never even thought of our community that way, really. I mean, I love our community and the farmland, the sprawling things we were talking about yesterday, but to see the potential in people and see that it's out there, and we are obviously a community of that. So,
first of all, I give credit to the Mennonites. Yeah. Because this really has been a Mennonite community from the beginning. And they're industrious, creative people, and they work together to build things. But then out of that, ultimately came the University of Waterloo, which was one of those. I mean, we've had industries here, we've had textile, all of those things. But when we got to the university and the guys who created that whole collection of community support to build this thing, and then you look at all the things that came out of it. When you look at the tech businesses that came out of it, the other schools that came out of it, the graduates that came out of it, we have Nobel Prize winners in physics. We have Mike Lazaridis from RIM. I mean, we could go on. There's tons.
When did it all start? Like when did fame or I don't know, maybe not fame's the right word, but recognition for this being that hub. When did that start? Like in the 70s, 80s, 90s?
I would think it was mid to late 90s is when it really took hold. I mean, even in the 70s, we had...
Well, Raytheon. My dad was a Raytheon guy for years and years. He died as a VP of Raytheon.
Raytheon? What was Raytheon? I know that.
Missiles and radar.
Yes.
Was it?
And we're not allowed to know. Everything was under a cloak of secrecy. Yeah, my dad worked there too.
We can't go down the conspiracy trail today.
Why not? Why not? I don't even know anything about this.
Well, we can if you want. A little
Missile guidance systems?
Yeah, so radar and missiles.
Yeah.
So... one of the reasons why I lived in Spain when I was a kid was because my dad sold armament to governments for Raytheon. So you, but I was a little kid. We didn't know any better. And now you look back at here, the foundation of the radar systems was developed here in Waterloo. It was right on, what street is that?
Phillips Street.
Phillips, right.
Really?
Yeah.
So they always had you never saw the radar on top of the building always turning? That was like their...
And when you drove by, the radio station would sort of cut out after...
Well, and your vision gets a little blurry and details.
You have a little glow about you as you...
So you're getting a brain hemorrhage or something.
Maybe.
You never know.
They did invent the microwave. Did you guys know that?
All I can say is I had hair before. Just saying.
And we had BF Goodrich.
Yeah, we did.
We had Schneider's.
Yeah.
A lot of big
Krug Furniture.
Krug Furniture. Yeah.
The tannery.
Father-in-law worked there. Yeah.
Oh, the carpet place right across the road here. Krug, was it? Carpet?
Yeah.
Kraus Carpet.
My neighbor was a 39...
It's now just a bunch of dirt and rocks.
Yeah.
39-year at Schneider's in Kitchener here.
Was that the boot place?
No.
Schneider's? The meat place.
Meat.
Oh, Schneider Meats.
Pork.
What was the famous boot company that was downtown?
Remember when they went out of business too? I can't remember.
Kelleher's? Kelleher's?
No.
Leather. That was leather.
Yeah, it was boots with the...
That was Cambridge, maybe?
Oh, Kaufman.
Kaufman.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Kaufman.
Another big family. Yeah.
But that's the thing about innovation and creation and building is that there's a life cycle.
Mm.
And then if you don't have something to take it over,
Go somewhere else.
yeah, go somewhere else. So do the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We had been talking earlier, Steve and I, about the relationship of building businesses or building ideas, having ideas, developing ideas. Steve comes from the music side, and he was telling me a story about how they approach it in music. Maybe you can...
Yeah. When I studied music composition at university, and in the first year course, one of the things they do is have you write a short piece of music. But if they were to just give you a blank piece of paper, you don't really know what to write. So if we had a room full of people, go write a piece of music, come back, it could come back any kind of wild variety of pieces. So they teach you to impose some rules on yourself by imposing them for you to start. And so the first assignment was write a piece. I think it was maybe 12 bars long for a single flute, just one instrument, and feature a lot of repeated notes.
Those are the guidance principles.
That
right
was
there?
it.
Wow.
So then everybody came back with 12 bars of music written for flute with repeated notes, and it was very interesting to see how within those confines
You still had.
there's still an infinite number of possibilities.
Yeah.
So I think that idea where you can sit down and say I want to start a new business or I want to write a movie or anything that you want to do, you got to impose some what do they call those bumpers at the bowling alley.
Guardrails?
Thank you. That's
Yep.
the word. You have to impose some guardrails and give yourself some rules to help hone your endeavor. But then, as we were saying too, the end result always ends up quite different than what you anticipated. But if it's too wide open, you have a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Bill and I are sitting down and saying, hey, let's start this thing. Obviously, we're not going to start a skate sharpening shop because I don't know.
Really?
I don't think Bill
That's
does.
what
That
you
was
did
the
there.
option we started with. We've been filtering it out, though. As Steve said, I don't
But we're
have
gonna
skates.
play
With
to our-
global warming, that 1 month a year when the ponds are frozen.
So
Not a good business.
So we play to our strengths, and we found a good combination of things that we're both experienced with, and both of those things we're building. And that's when we started talking to other people who are builders and starting to see a lot of other similarities in other people's stories when they start from an idea into something tangible. And I think we've all had that experience. And for now, the purpose of our podcast is to.
Well, I want to hear Blake's perspective on when he first. Maybe you can tell us exactly what you do at Ennios now.
I'm not chefing anymore. I'm operations.
You lost too many customers?
Yeah,
No,
maybe.
kidding.
Or ideas. Anyway, yeah, just I'm operations. I take care of the numbers, make sure people are doing what they're supposed to do. It's a completely different gambit than being
Frontline.
right in the front line of a busy kitchen, which I loved at the time, but I'm definitely in a better place. I was always a numbers guy when it came to trying to save product and time and energy and different things. I mean, there's so much more to be able to get to, but the restaurant business to me has just endless
Layers.
just lists to do. Like,
Yeah. It never ends.
One thing, finishes, the next thing starts, and it's just. I mean, I know all businesses sort of have their own thing, but the restaurant business is moving. It's constantly moving, and those are that's why I'm glad I'm not in the mainstream of it anymore, because my energy level for that is dissipated, and I enjoy the numbers part of it and being able to make a difference, seeing it that way. And then
You're
helping
pulling
people
strings behind the scenes
Yeah.
too. That's the key to innovation
A lot
over
of them.
time, right?
Yeah.
All of us. When I started this business, it was do instead of, ask or work with others who can do better than you and focus on the things that you're good at. And so you said a little minute ago that you want to put guardrails up. Well, when I started the business, I didn't have any guardrails, and you suffer a lot trying to do the things that you're not supposed to be doing.
I think most startups do.
Yeah, and it's growing pains.
Is that what consultants are for?
But,
Don't get me going.
Consultants were also, I've talked to a few over the years, and it's, never convinced me that the ROI that they provide is there. So I'm not a big fan.
Yeah.
It depends on what level you're at with consultants, I think.
I don't know.
I could consult people.
Most people.
There's a lot of them I could consult, but there's a lot of them I couldn't because they're further beyond what I've done. So,
but getting back to the, we talk about startups and having that wide open piece of paper without the guard rails, and then starting to define what those guardrails are, rely on you as the founder. Rely on you as the one with the vision. Okay, I started this. Why did I start this? There was a reason. And there's a destination you're looking for, and you have this white piece of paper, and you start to identify the areas where you're not good at, skate sharpening. You don't include it. But you're doing all of that until you get to something that is repeatable. I think at some point it has to be something that you can walk away from and somebody else can do.
Oh, yeah, that's the target.
And that's the target.
The target is to get out at some point.
But the realization is what Blake's referring to, all the minutia and all of the management side of it. It's just so many layers and so many things that if you're constantly on the front lines, you're constantly cooking and serving and prepping, you're not working the business.
Yeah, it's a form of not guardrails, but blinders, on, because you're so involved in one main task, even though it encompasses many. But when an ownership recognizes that there's a person here that can step back and see a broader picture, that's when it starts to fold into place. It just takes time and money, really.
Well, and that's a very good point, the time and money. And we live in a community where right now everybody thinks they can start a business, but they want it to be up and going and successful in 3 months. Or they'll write a business plan and make it all exciting and raise money, but the only reason the money guys are in it are for the return, so they're looking for how quickly you can get to money. So the focus changes from the creative development, understanding, nailing down what the business is, to scrambling to find how to make the money to keep the investors happy.
Yeah, it's a different game.
It's a whole different game, but it's a big game in town here in Waterloo. Oh, yeah. It's massive.
I mean, the influences and the obvious, pre-successes dictate that here it is tech, right? Tech's the one that drives it all in terms of big money, and then everything stems off of that. And we're all the feeders, the restaurants, the cafes. You're feeding that hub of people here.
So all these people are out there thinking that they're going to make the next unicorn.
And maybe one of them might, but most of them won't. But they still feed us on a daily basis, right? The community feeds itself in that way, which is the beauty of it.
And that's the thing.
Trying to be better and making sure you come back.
Yeah.
It's a big point of having a service.
It's the fabric of the community. Like you need the small businesses, or you need the you need the cafes. You need the restaurants.
A segue of that small business thing is I do want to ask Blake something, because when I first came to town here, we used to actually go to Ennios, the one on right by your house.
Oh, the original.
Yeah. And I got to know Ennio and Nana, and Ennio actually taught me how to make dressing. His dressing. He told my wife and I the recipe at the time, and we were like, "Oh my god, this is the best knowledge ever." But did you ever work there?
Still use it today. Yes, I worked with him there to train.
You worked with him there?
To train when I trained.
So that our synergy of being on similar paths goes all the way back to that time, probably.
That's true.
because I don't know what year that was, but it was a long time ago.
Is that the one on King
20.
Street?
20 plus. The one, on
Lorraine.
Lorraine.
It's right down from my house now.
Yeah, he lives right around the corner from there.
Is that one still open?
No.
Oh, okay.
We closed that one to move to the Fairway location.
Okay, I gotcha.
And when was that?
Bigger. 10, 12 years ago now,
Wow.
I think.
Never mind.
Rosa and Ennio were both still actively in the business,
Yeah.
along with their children. So,
And did you like that time with them?
oh yeah, fantastic.
it was like
Different
family.
personalities, like Italians are. Like they're nuts. They're nuts. They're nuts. Like the office door was closed. This little office outside the kitchen. The girls are screaming at each other, just laying into each other. And it was just like, and then, next minute they're kissing and hugging. And,
They come out smiling.
and we're all outside, kind of with our eyes wide like saucers, going, what the heck's going on in there?
Yeah, I can see that. I grew up in an Italian town in Massachusetts, and the Italians are definitely passionate, handshaking kind of people, very Latin. I mean, we inherit some of it in South America too.
Yeah.
The use of the hands, hard in this format. We should have like a hands button that goes around here or something.
They ain't going to see it.
No. Yeah.
We'll add the sound effects in post.
Yeah, the whooshing hands.
Yeah.
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Do a golf clap.
Yes.
So, your time with Ennio, like Ennio and his wife, Rosa, they built that restaurant. What's the origin story there?
Quickly, I guess. He was 19 when he came here, like the usual story with nothing in his pocket. And he got a job doing floors, like just Italian tile and different things like that. They actually did the Hacienda, I think, original.
Really?
I think
Wow.
so. Yeah, they worked on that.
Ennio?
Yeah,
He was a tile guy?
yeah.
Didn't know that.
Like the fancy crap you see.
Yeah, no. I
Mosaic
understand.
stuff, yeah.
Mosaics.
Yeah.
Anyway, and he met his wife here, who was from the same region as him in Italy, both going, to Canada for whatever reason. I don't know Rosa's story, and they had, children and started. Ennio was a big part of the church, and really the church, the Catholic Church, was where the restaurant kind of derived from. So he used to do spaghetti dinners for them, 300 people, like salad and his bolognese sauce, right? His famous bolognese sauce. So everybody was like, there's no good Italian restaurants around here, Ennio. And Ennio's out talking to everybody. He loves people. Like, he's just a lovely
amazing
person, And they said, you should open a restaurant with your family. And so he goes, 63 years old. He goes, good idea.
That's a good time to
And
start.
he gets his kids together and his nieces and nephews and whatever, and opened Lorraine on a dime, whatever.
That was the beauty of it.
That's
It
it.
He was 63
simple.
years old when he started.
63.
Wow.
There's hope for us.
Yeah.
This could work, kids. This could work.
Wow.
Crazy, I thought. Like, I want to be out at 63, which isn't far off.
But is there such a thing as out? I don't believe there is. I think it's next. It's not out.
I think if there's no next,
There's no purpose. It's a problem.
Well, you're talking generally, I guess, but in the
Talking
restaurant business, I don't know if I'm going to.
Oh, I don't mean the
out to
job. I
that.
just mean you just alluded to retirement, basically.
what would you say when you started with Ennio? Had you been a chef? Well, I guess you were with charcoal first.
Yes.
Were
That's-
you cooking in the kitchen?
Oh yeah, I was. I went from busboy to what they called in the day runner, to a grill cook, to a prep cook down or out in the back area to the lower deck where I think I was just a cook at one point, and then I worked my way up to sous chef
That's
in the lower deck.
Dell's wife was down there. The lower deck.
Well, I don't know. What do you mean down there? Like
the lower deck?
Yeah.
The seafood?
Yeah.
I worked there.
Yeah. Oh. yeah. Well, I that's where I kind of got into chefing because it was a smaller kitchen. It had a more variety of from prime rib to rack of lamb to
Dover sole.
All the like peeling Dover soles was so therapeutic. Peeling the skin off, that was the best thing.
And I would have to serve it, and I'd have to cut it at the table. And
the 4 sections.
Yeah. And then the cherries jubilee.
Yeah. Did you guys not work together?
No, well, I don't know. I'm just finding this out. I didn't know he was there.
We'd have to dig into that one.
I think we might have to.
Maybe.
That was a great restaurant. I loved the lower deck.
The lower deck.
Oh. I mean, I like all this stuff that
I hated fish.
Do,
I hated fish before I started working in the lower deck. I did not eat fish ever. Not even fish and chips. I go to Rockaway Fish and Chips, Rockaway,
yep.
And I'd get a burger. I was the only one in the family. Everybody else is having the special fish and chips. I'd get a burger. That's how much I didn't like fish.
That changed.
That changed at the lower deck. Red snapper, and it's the fish, not the other.
The other stuff.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, that was the best place. Then I became the sous chef for the entire building, and then.
So who was training you then?
Oh, many different chefs, which was a story I always tell. I can do that pretty quick too. Is chefs they went through chefs like water every 6 months to a year for the longest time, and I understood why in my later days because they were only good at 1 or 2 things, like really good. Like I learned, and that's what I learned from those guys. The one guy made the best lobster bisque. And I watched him and I wrote the recipe down. Like most cooks, they just do big batch things like that, right? They know the basics and what you need. And that's what I kind of do in my backyard. Reverting back to that is take what I have and go. I might have to get into canned goods or beans, but that's kind of what they do. And then the one other guy was down on his knees in the walk-in, organizing and cleaning everything out and was just immaculate about keeping things tidy, organized, labeled, and
accessible.
Clean. And anything that looked shit's going here, and the other stuff's going in the garbage. Put it on the waste sheet, blah blah blah. So I pick his brain, watching him do that, right? And then there was a guy that came in from Germany, and he stayed for 3 or 4 years, and he taught me a ton, and he was the one who encouraged me to get my certification, unschooled certification. So just write my test basically. And that's what I did with him, and he taught me the most, and then just the rest is just hands-on experience, I guess.
But you're listening, you're learning. Like you're not just someone there for a job. You're passionate.
Well, and a lifelong restaurateur. I did restaurants when I grew up from start at 13 to. Well, I still own a cafe, but I don't actually work it anymore. So maybe a few years ago is that food service thing, but that's a mentality. It's a way of life. It's a learning, a constant learning curve of what you said earlier is of change every day. So there's never 2 days that are the same, which is the beauty of that type of work is because there's the periphery where all the things that have to happen administratively and economically and functionally. But every single day there's an opportunity for chaos of some sort, or else it's not a normal day.
Yeah.
And most people don't really love that. That uncertainty that comes with the voyage of living a life like that all the time is unique to restaurateurs.
I don't know if it's unique to restaurateurs though.
Well, no, maybe to entrepreneurs and creators of things that are of that same. Yeah, so that's
right. Why I think the restaurant business, the music business, the startup world around here is that it's different every day.
Yeah,
like you're constantly learning, and if you're not, I see too many guys get into things without having enough runway, without having enough understanding of, okay, yeah, it's a nice idea, but you got to know you're going to be on your knees and you're going to be cleaning stuff up. You're going to be answering calls. You're going to be responding to bill collectors. You're going to be all this stuff they don't tell you about.
And it's not a 40-hour to 45-hour work week.
Right. So you have to have a passion.
Yeah.
You have to want to do it.
It's definitely not an hourly thing.
Yeah.
You need problem-solving skills as well.
Yes.
Right.
Because that's when something turns left on you, you have to figure out.
Putting out fires.
Yep.
Yeah, that's I think that's a common trait is being able to put out fires.
Right.
Yeah.
But
In
those
the area
people,
of-
I think that the delineation is between people who are invested and people who aren't.
Right.
Because if you're the founder,
but many
or-
don't know that they're not invested. They think they're invested.
Yeah, but I'm even sort of just talking like employees. You just hire somebody and they don't really
Right.
care.
Oh yeah,
about
employees are usually employees. They're not vested.
Yeah.
There's
So you always have when in my music.
Unless you get a Blake.
I have a Blake in my organization, or
Yeah, like if
actually
you can-
Blake or two, because I've got a couple that's been with me 20 years, and they're vested because they believe in what we do and they believe in what I am and who we are, and as a
But if
business,
you're an
how we-
employee, that's a great way to be.
absolutely, because you get the best opportunity to learn, to partake, to direct, to make, to do. Because
Ultimately, eventually
you earn that right to be able to dictate what happens, and there's respect for what you do because you've been homegrown through the organization. That's amazing.
Yeah. You don't see it often, though. I'm sorry,
If you
Blake.
back up a little bit on what you said, though, it's about doing and opportunity, and like you listed all like 5 good things there. I can't even recall them all, but they're really good. As opposed to
Rewind the
money and power, and power, whatever, but money. Everybody's about money, and invested is someone who gives a crap about how they perform.
Yeah.
Simply, like someone
The
who
result.
plays music, you want to be judged for how you perform. Why isn't the mentality? Why isn't that if simply we all had that, they would be rock stars all over the place.
Well, I found when I was playing a lot, the best places to play, the owner was always there. It was run well. They treated us well.
Yeah.
As soon as you added a layer of management, your Coke isn't free anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we always have free Coke. The owner said we could. Well, I've made that decision. When they treat you poorly, or they nickel and dime you for the amount of time you're playing, or we have customers here that are really happy you have to play longer. We're not going to pay you anymore. Owners don't tend to do that. They tend to get the bigger picture because they're invested in the whole experience.
They've made the sacrifice.
But they care about
And
the
they know that
experience.
you've made the sacrifice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they not only care about the experience of the patrons, but also the people who work there.
Right.
And that's who we are.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
also one of the hardest things to do, though. In your description, there is to give the freedom and the allowability and the comfortability for those subordinates to the owner to be able to make those decisions that the owner is already making. That's one of the hardest challenges I have for the
Letting
job,
go.
like most of us probably.
Yeah.
But it's just being but not even letting go, but mentor them to be able to make a choice, make a decision, and that can then, there's folds of it in your management team from the ownership down that you're not going, why are we not getting free pop, right? They should know us and get involved. And again, the ownership has to also kind of breed that, I guess is what I'm saying. So anyway.
That's a great point. There's a lot of things, even when you're talking to large corporations, the disassociation, the bigger the corporation, the disassociation of the guys or gals who ultimately become the visioner, the CEOs, if they're so far removed from the customers, there's no relationship. It's so easy to lose customers. It's so easy to, if you don't understand, I always compare the newspaper industry. All those newspaper CEOs were so far removed from what consumers actually wanted, which was
No paper.
They
don't want
didn't
the
want
paper
paper. They wanted to get it easier, faster. They wanted to. Now, what we ended up with was a bunch of garbage, anyways. But still, had they been on the ball, which is very hard to do when you're driving a whale,
I do that all the time.
checking your pulse.
Not my pulse, the pulse of the business.
The pulse of the business.
Pulse of the business.
For all those who are just listening in,
Yeah,
Blake is putting 2 fingers on his
on his inside of his wrist.
on the inside of his wrist.
Yeah. That's what I'm
I
doing.
was having a heart attack myself.
Yeah. Is he giving me a sign? What is
Time
he?
out. My watch is gone. It's not.
But yeah,
ticking.
the pulse of the business, and the business is the business really is the people.
I agree with that. I've always said that this business that I run, it's a business about people. The medium is coffee.
Yeah.
But the business is people.
Right.
And it's community, it's intersection, it's service, but it's also engagement, it's interaction. It's just as important to them to get what you're giving them than it is from you to receive it from them. So it's a marriage of service to product given or whatever that works, and it's symbiotic, and it needs each other, and you can do it together. And when you do it well and you do it right, and you build a community that comes and services that, then it's very empowering in a different way of power. It's the one like, wow, we got this thing right. We got the mix right. We got the feel right. When it hums, and I'm not saying it's never going to be, one of these giant corporations. No, it's just a place of harmony that works. And you have that team that's successful, and they all fall into place. And it doesn't always come in this industry. And I've had the opportunity to experience it several times in different areas, but we've had really, great success lately in the last few years with the cafe component as to how that works and how it's not your date. Like you can manage it from afar, and it still works as it was constructed to work. That's the hardest thing to achieve, because you always are in the center of the whirlwind, doing all the things that you need to do. So taking one step back and, like you said, mentoring the people to run it the way you want them to or expect them to, and they actually do that. It's self-fulfilling and rewarding again, because you were able to achieve that hardest thing in this business, which is the detachment, but still have the ability to own it.
And maintaining the vision of what it is.
Mm-hmm. And why it's there, and why it does what it does.
Yeah.
And it services that community that you built in a specific way, and they reward you for it.
Happy employees make very good service people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people. If they're happy, there's and if you can contribute to that happiness at work in some fashion, a structural fashion, you can be successful. It's not easy.
We've all been in it for a long, long time, and there's always the misfits that are always part of the business too, that make it sometimes fun, but likewise make it more challenging, because there's so much drama that comes with it.
You have to know when it's going to destroy your business, or if it's
a fine
because
line.
it can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
There is a let it slide motto in the restaurant business, and I'm sure in others as well. You just you try to outweigh good and bad, really.
Yeah.
With someone that works hard, the intent is there, but there's a disconnect, right?
Right.
It is what it is, and you just make a judgment based on that, and eventually they'll just leave.
Yeah, it's true. They
Usually
move on,
just move
and
on.
they just.
This isn't for me.
Well, especially in that industry.
Yeah, if you can't click with it like everybody else around you is doing, you're not going to really eventually, you're going to realize it and go, okay, I got a different opportunity here. I'll go work here, and it'll be better for me.
God willing, you have that opportunity for the sake of the business.
Yeah. 100%.
Please go.
Well, sometimes you have to, escort them to the door too.
Yeah.
You are being promoted to customer.
I like that one. I'm going to use that.
I read something the other day. It was an employment, or working in the employment office, or is it EI, Employment Insurance Office, and the person got fired, and on a Friday, and said, "We'll see you on Monday."
From the other side
Yeah,
of the
from
counter.
the other side of the counter.
That's pretty harsh.
That is harsh, yeah.
I sometimes give them a gift card. Say, come
See ya.
see us, bring your family.
Sarcastically,
Can you give us a Google?
No, with real, like
sarcastic.
straightforward. This is part of our program. I
Can you
think.
give us a 5-star Google review?
Get out?
I will say, as a patron of your restaurant, and I love the food, but I love the people even more.
Oh, that's good.
They're well, every time I've had service there, it's been great. But the restaurants that do stand out for me are the ones that I go repeatedly to are the ones where I have a relationship with the wait staff. For the most part, like the food could be similar to other places, like a breakfast, for instance.
Yeah.
I go to the Daily Grill.
Yeah.
I love the Daily Grill.
Yeah.
Chris,
You know what you're getting.
you know what you're getting, but it's the staff. And you make it's the same staff. You go back there, you can make fun of them. They make fun of you. The owner, Chris, same deal. He's a little harsher.
Let me tell you a story about this subject, because Ed was talking about it before, and you kind of brought it back up. I was 23 years old at the charcoal and management position, sitting around a table of 12 managers, including the owner, Dell, his sons, Tim and Tom.
Yeah.
A couple of investors. This was pre kind of, and they were looking at investing in like guys, and I think a consultant.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But it oh, sorry. Wow. That's
Not
going to be a big ding on your thing there.
No problem.
But speaking to what both you guys were saying is the one guy said, and I'm a chef, right? I'm a cook, and I even got my dirty apron hanging over my shoulder. I just came from the kitchen to a meeting, right? I got to be there, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and we went through all the numbers and all that, and then we going around the table and talk. And he goes, listen, this guy says, he was one of the investors. He goes, I know this business. He goes, we all serve the same slop, is what he says.
Whoa.
It's how we do it that's going to count and bring customers back, right? Again, I was like offended and pissed off, and like I'm busting my ass in the kitchen. But I hear this over and over again from different people, the same premise, and what they desire, what they want when they go to a place, relationships with servers, and
The
something a
experience.
little different that they do that's going, because you're ordering the same thing. Maybe you're having cappelletti every time you go in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what it's going to be. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Carbonara, actually. But yeah.
Again, it's one of our biggest sellers, right? But
good reason.
It's how it's done. Like not only efficiencies, but relationships. That's what brings people back. But he was just saying that to me in a bad way at the time, right?
Right.
It was a very
Framing
bad
was a little
way.
off, but
especially
he-
with probably two lonely cooks sitting at the table of 12, right? So it just relates to your story. And
Yeah.
I thought it was a funny story that I went through that at a very young age in this business, and it keeps coming the same thing over and over again. I mean, you got to have good product. I get that, but
Well, we were talking earlier about another subject, the difference between a founder-built business and a franchise.
Yeah, I always like to say this. Nobody buys a Tim Hortons franchise because they like coffee.
You're right.
They don't. It's
Nope.
it's for money. It's
Yeah.
like, how much does this straw cost, and how can we get one cheaper? And then Berkshire Hathaway buys it, and then forget about it. But when you have your own thing, you set the rules. You can set what's important. That's what separates. I would always prefer to go to an independent place,
Absolutely.
but except
but
for
it-
the charcoal, because the charcoal group is getting bigger.
But it's still
it's
family
still-
run.
it's an independent.
It is independent.
Fantastic, because the product is always good. You go to a charcoal. I'm a fan.
Me
Whenever
too.
we go out, it's, can we please go to Beer Town? Can we please go to Wildcraft? Can we?
I'm a fan too.
Yeah, because the product is good, and they know how to train their staff.
Yep.
I
And they
feel
hire
bad
the right
because I don't
people.
go to these places very often.
Oh,
You should.
No, I just don't. Service burnt me out. I don't really enjoy that.
I don't do
part
it
of
much
life.
anymore either.
I
It
don't
is
like being in a
interesting, yeah.
restaurant.
Don't.
I don't like
Yeah.
being in a bar. I don't
Yeah.
like the environment of service because I lived it my whole life. And it's like, I just see the imperfection of what I perceive to be different. And so it's not right or wrong. It's just, but it causes me angst. It's like, wait a minute, I don't even have to do this. I don't have to be here. I can go make my own food, or I can go, I don't know. I just don't like the restaurant experience at all anymore. And I mean, it's 50 years of service, of being in the backside of it, which is, the dirty little secrets happen in the back, and it's a lifetime of them, and it's not as special as what the place can portray itself to be. And sometimes it is, and it's better. And I'm not saying it's either way. It's just different. The back is different than the front, and too much of the back, I can't even taste the front. And it's like,
I will say
it's true.
With charcoal, I've been in the back. But the one thing that impressed me way back when was how professional it was, and how clean it was, and how organized it was. So it didn't have the imperfections. Previous to that, I worked at pubs. I worked at McDonald's. And McDonald's was great training way back in the day.
It was
time to lead, time to clean.
Structure, timing, time and movement. All
I got a story about that too.
You worked at McDonald's?
No, I did not. But a friend of mine's daughter wanted to, and it's a story about just that.
And did you tell her not to?
No, he did.
He told her not to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was McDonald's. And then I sent him an article basically stating what you just said, is that their training program is number one. A lot of the big CEOs used to put their resumes to the top of the pile. And I go, don't be so naive to your daughter going to a lowly McDonald's to work. And that was what his concern was, right? And I sent him this little article I just came across within a couple days and sent it to him. And he's like,
how long ago was that? Because I don't see that same attention to detail.
15 years, maybe.
Yeah. I see the service, it isn't what it used to be. And that's maybe from my perspective, I look back and I say, this is what it used to be. It's not this anymore. It's necessary because they have to respond to the quarterly reports for the shareholders.
For those big companies, yeah.
Yeah. And so your focus goes away from the food, goes away from the service, and goes towards cost savings and convenience.
And I don't think that it's that mindset has changed. I mean, I actually have to say, one time last summer we stopped at we don't even know the name, it's a chain, and we had the best food service experience I had had in years in a random place. And it was a big store, but it was all run by, you could tell they all lived like next door. They were friendly, they were kind, they were sincere, they were efficient.
Small town?
And my son, who was 13, says, it was a small town.
Yeah,
my son says,
you can do that in a small town.
Dad, that was the best fast food experience I've had in my life. And I kind of had to agree with them, but it was uncanny that a 13-year-old picked up on it.
That's probably their target demographic or close to it, right?
Yeah, it was a random off-the-highway experience of driving home from Ottawa.
I had that with a coffee joint in Grand Bend. Great service, great. The people obviously knew each other, grew up together. They were passionate about making their customers happy.
Yeah, it's a
hard thing to maintain.
A hard thing to achieve. It's a hard thing to maintain. It's a hard thing to sustain.
Right.
Because it's the people that are involved that make it so. I mean, unfortunately, in this industry, I find that the founders or the ones that start the thing have a different mindset always. Yeah. So I had an opportunity to open a bunch of restaurants when I was young, like chain restaurants, but the opening crew was like no other. Then you hired people. You hired people that came in after you had built this thing from nothing. Like you start out in these restaurants and it's an empty building, and then they start piling all this stuff in, and the decorators come in and whip in, and the kitchens get thrown in, and all of a sudden you're on the line cooking. And then you teaching people how to do this and to go to the next town and do it all over again. So you really get that founding build experience. I worked for the Chili's organization years and years ago, and got to travel like to Connecticut, Rhode Island, Western Massachusetts, Vermont to open up these one-offs, but that first crew was always the one that was really hungry to do it. And
Was
then
this a traveling crew or that
we had
that you
train
got?
the trainer type program? So I was specialized in the fry area and that whole section. So I would go and train the people that were going to work that area. Just teach them how to use all the equipment and how to not kill themselves and make the food that had to be made and do it to the standard, right? It was very by the book, and it's the 5-ingredient mentality of Taco Bell, right? How do you make 5 ingredients different every single month for the rest of humanity? And somehow they do it. But Chili's was kind of the same thing. There was it's a big chain, and so
Higher end though.
yeah, higher end for sure, and better quality of equipment, better quality of food, better quality of refrigeration, of process. All those things play into it, but it's still the recipe's the recipe. There's no divergence. The machine cooks the ribs a certain way for a certain amount of time at a certain pressure with a certain amount of condiment in it, and it's all dished out like McDonald's.
Right.
That made money then.
Right.
And the consistency is what everyone's about, and that's why people still go to Tim Hortons, because at least it's going to be theoretically the same as the one that you had yesterday at a different location. And that's vital for them. And McDonald's is the same thing, and all these big ones are the same thing, that they can somehow maintain the consistency across the map.
Right.
While being very efficient.
Right. Well, I mean, but
It's a huge
50
part.
years of working at it with lots of money, yeah, they better be good at it and efficient, right?
But do they lose? Like, you look at Timmy's
Some
20,
individuals
25
do.
years ago, they were baking in-house.
But who loses? You're talking the franchise owner's going to lose, but the corporation,
No, the customer loses, I think. I mean, if you buy into this whole relationship with this in-house bakery, now all their stuff comes pre-made and supplied centrally.
Well, I don't go, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's palatable.
But it's consistent.
But it's like going to a Quickie Mart or a 7-Eleven.
I don't know. I think if you go to a 7-Eleven one day and you get a coffee, and then you go to a Quick Mart, it's not the same thing. It tastes
I
different.
think the coffee is consistent. I think the coffee is the consistency on that
But
one.
at Timmy's, it's every single Timmy's. It all tastes the same, and that's what they want. What they tasted yesterday. Because imagine if every Timmy's tasted different, then you'd never go back.
Yeah, no, that's true.
They have the secret to that sauce, which is
Yeah.
and it's smart, and they can maintain a business from it. But I look at are they successful? I think depend on where you catalog it. I think the franchise owners, as the franchise gets run down or the community changes and it goes downhill or uphill, they have all the power to succeed greatly or fail.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think corporate feels that. You're not doing great. Just shut it down. It's fine. We'll open up another one in the new suburb and it'll do
Disposable.
just as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's disposable to them, and I think they don't lose.
No.
They'd never.
Again, it's shareholders.
Right.
I mean, they've got a fiduciary obligation to make sure that they're getting a return for their shareholders. That means profit outweighs everything else,
No.
sadly.
At that level, I don't know how you shut that off.
Yeah, no, once you
Because
get
it's
to there,
the
you
common
can't.
denominator of so many heads that you can't shut it off anymore. Now that's when you lose control of what you've built, is when the powers that be that make the decisions above you have usurped your decision to make, your decisions to make, and it's gone. And now,
They even affect employment, right? Like employment in a huge way, right? It's so big.
Yeah. So, the whole founder thing, Blake, you've been a founder without being a founder.
Yes, I guess.
But you were that critical element that enabled that first vision to, I guess,
Start.
consolidate. I don't want to take anything away from Ennio and Rosa.
No,
It's just
but
the
you-
next step.
And
You're the
how
next
long
step,
have you been
yeah.
there now? Since without them?
21 years old. Oh, without them.
Yeah.
Has it been
So they sold to
8, maybe 8?
So you guys continued the legacy and the name and the vision that they, left for you, and you've been able to take it in the direction you've taken it, and
Well,
it's successul. That's
better.
succession.
It's definitely better.
The succession, though. I mean, that's how do you take a business that was built on passion, and find someone who's going to buy it, and then have that same passion and have that deliver and enable it to
prosper.
get even prosper. And you were the conduit. I suspect.
Well, I hired the person that bought it.
Well, there you go. Did you get a finder's fee?
I should. Well, they asked me numerous times, I think, to invest in the business, like as a shareholder or whatever. I just said I can't. I said I already lose my mind when I see a 6-cent butter pot hit the floor or get thrown out or the waste involved. Like I already am. I start making charts and how I can save this, right? And again, back to the numbers in the old days. But as an owner, I would even be more anxious about how that's happening, because now it's not only what I care about is waste and everything else, but the cost to the bottom line, everything else is it's my dollars now that are being. Right. Carelessly, in my view, at the time, again,
I'm glad I don't work for him.
No kidding.
Those things kind of change.
You're like ripping the sugar open, and you look up and you see Blake. You're like,
yeah.
I didn't do it.
I've grabbed a few carts and shaken dressings off them and spilt them all over the floor over anger for a 6-cent butter pot kind of thing, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, duh, slow down a little bit, right? But again, we all learn as we go and figure those things out. But yeah, it's been good.
Well, you see a lot of these succession plans happening, never really so successfully. I could point to a restaurateur in town here. I won't say who they are, but they started a restaurant many years ago, built it up, made it incredibly successful. Then they sold it. They helped them during the transition, had the time off, and then they went and built another restaurant and did the same thing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the first restaurant doesn't have the same, they don't continue with the training. They don't continue with the same level of service. They don't continue with the same quality of food. And then they've done it 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah.
I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they
yeah.
are amazingly successful.
Yeah, the contributing factor to Ennios is that the owner now, currently, when I hired him, eventually went up the ranks like crazy, but he worked side by side with Ennio more than I did and built a bond and Ennio's understanding through cooking together and conversations that they're having on the line about Ennio's dream and his passive want for the Ennio's restaurant and the family and the legacy. And Ray bought into it, but it was just sincere from Ennio's heart, I'm sure, based on knowing Ennio, just talking and singing and
it's funny because I haven't seen Ray in, I don't know, 20 years, but I remember Ray hanging out with Ennio way back. He was a kid. To me, I still think of Ray as that kid, and he's probably just a grown man like all of us,
Yeah.
But he's that kid that worked in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was delivering coffee.
But yeah, again, and then the business sense, went to university always had goals and business in mind and put the two together, and he doesn't ever want to let go of Ennio.
Right.
And Ennio's, right? And the legacy. That's it for him. He doesn't. And I think it was all that time spent together of just talking.
That's amazing.
And laughing, and that's it. Like there was business involved, and the owner's kids were hard on Ray, really hard on him. Like they were like kicking him to the curb almost in a sense, because they didn't treat him like I was treated like gold there. like I could do no wrong.
But that's like
and,
typical family behavior,
yeah, it's just dynamics. of that,
Ennio took a shine to Ray as his torch of passing on.
Well, understood his work
And
ethic. And
yep, I mean that
everything
happens,
else,
and
right?
it doesn't matter. It doesn't has to be your own kin. It's a kindred spirit more than
Right.
than a bloodline. And I know them all, and I can see how Ennio made that decision. And it happens, but did it solve itself in the end, or like did it all come around?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
And the sisters bought into the whole.
100%. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And the timing was spot on. So not necessarily for the restaurant because
So
of
you,
what
you
happened.
say 100%, but there was a transition there. Like they were not. They weren't his biggest fans.
I wouldn't say that. I would say just kind of how it came off, or how they kind of handled some of his things that he needed at the time, or time off was a problem, or I don't know.
It's restaurant life,
It's
but
just-
it's
it is
family
restaurant,
members.
Dynamic stuff that happens.
But when you
and-
have a family business,
It's a power struggle to who.
it's a huge
in the
power
end.
struggle.
And I
it's-
just-
there's got to be a lot of ego and
if he would have got in a year before me, he would have been in the same position I was. I got in first, got their confidence. Like in the first 2 years, I changed that business. I can say that
right.
because I saw the numbers and their P&Ls for the last 6 months, and it was just starting to not look good on paper, at least. And
Which is not unusual for a founder's business.
yeah,
Because they're focused on delivering, not so much the
all the
costing
back end
and the
stuff
processing
and making sure things are right, and that their chef isn't sitting having a TV in the kitchen watching the Blue Jays game.
Yeah.
Like I got in.
Oh,
I
you
go,
can't watch TV
I go,
while you work.
I go, is that a microwave?
I'm out.
No, it's a TV. And I said, why is there a TV in the kitchen? Oh, well, the chef used to, when the Blue Jays were playing, he'd have it on. I go, you take that, throw it in the bin. Now it won't be in this. Neither will phones and stereos and radios and stuff like that, right? Like establish a ground, and that's what I did too. I look in the fridge. I go, this is an awful lot of pasta. What's going on? I come in the next day. And I go, oh, so there's a business here. They're selling stuff. It's good. It's gone, right? So that I can work with this, right? Now you just got to look at making it, keeping the product the same, and looking at them where they're wasting time or they're throwing things out. Like, geez, the stuff they used to do. It was on video. I can't even share it. It's so stupid. And it's not affecting a customer in a negative way. It's the waste.
Right.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's the lack of process. I completely understand that. I grew up in technology, changing check process.
Yeah.
So it's changing, removing paper, adding an image, and stopping the paper. But the crazy things that people did, because that's the way it came about, and the banking industry had defined, and you had to move these, immense things over and over again. And you look at the inefficiencies, and you're like, wow, there's so much that can be done to, maximize efficiencies. Never mind mindsets or anything. It's just like you really don't have to move those 72 boxes 3 times and spend countless amount of energy doing so.
It's incredible to see these big organizations and the inefficiencies. My kids work for big companies, and I hear what's happening. Like, these are massive companies, and the waste is incredible at that level.
It's true. And it comes with the lack of ownership of that situation, because when it becomes, it's the companies, and then you're just participating in your action in that company. Now, none of its ownership are yours. So it's like, that's where
They
it
don't
balloons,
care.
right?
Yeah.
It balloons out of control, where in these smaller businesses, those
can't
people
avoid
don't
it.
last, as you said.
No,
Either
they do,
leave.
though. Oh my God,
not
they
in
do.
my organization. at
No,
least.
in the small, in the family businesses and in the
family, you can't fire them.
No, yeah, there might be some efficiencies or inefficiencies there, but I mean the small businesses where the owner is close to it, where the visionary is close to it. But there are some massive companies. I'm trying not to say that just by one decision you're saving $1 million. but it's been going on for years. And no one
That's the way
saw
it's
it.
done.
And so they bring in these consultants to work with these managers. Changes for a day, and then it's back to the same way it was. But they're too big to fail.
It'd be a nice problem to have once in a while.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I was going to say that the profits are high, obviously.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
I mean,
that's
margins and profits, and that's another subject with the restaurant business too. Food service in general, it's like
that's got to be tough now.
so thin. It was thin before. It's tough. Like we are on a strict wheel of what we got to keep under to just make it happen. So it's good. It's good to be. That's my job, or otherwise I wouldn't have a job because I got to manipulate those numbers, and not to manipulate them falsely in any way. Just manipulate the people so that those numbers come in line, right?
Yeah.
In a way that's all around.
Well, the last 5 years, COVID, then the last 5 years has thinned it and thinned it and thinned it. I mean, I'm glad to be on the end of the food spectrum where it's coffee's the leader, because it gives you more, cushion to accept the brunt of the change of how our economy's been. But food service, they got whacked, triple whacked. I mean, we don't have to talk about the pandemic anymore, but the years following the pandemic and the giant overhaul of personnel and types that were either jettisoned out to never come back, or who are now green and clueless as to what has to happen for it to work again. And so that's been the industry or not, Blake, in the last 5 years. It's
not only that, but then in how long too? Same time span, probably one of the higher increases of
economic
minimum wage that I've seen in my time that I remember.
Labor costs were.
And it was already the largest part of your expenditure, right?
Yep.
And then it ballooned.
A lot.
Service staff evened out. Like it used to be a separate wage for service staff, right? Everybody knew that. It's now even.
Yeah.
A lot of shifting there too.
Oh yeah, no, it's a lot of lack of bottom line that you got taken away by those changes in laws that equalize it for everybody. But then you have the dynamic. I don't know how tip money impacts your business, but it's a big amount of what these people make for to make a living.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, if you look at it as a consumer on the other side of it, now everywhere you go is asking you for a tip, and you're like, wait, why am I tipping you? You didn't even do anything for me.
I served myself.
It's automatic. Like you walk up and you have to choose, you have to grab, you have to go get, and then there's a tip, and there's minimum is 10%. Excuse me? No. That's not the idea anymore. Exactly that. And I do zero. I have no problem with understanding what it meant to be for, which was the service industry people that were undercompensated for their hourly wage. But then they make an adjustment the other way, and they expect more of a tip because COVID, everyone learned how to tip for everything. You go get a library book and here's the tip. What? So it's changed for sure.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the future of the restaurant industry?
Oh, it's not going anywhere. It's going to continue to change. Like takeout and all that is, for the right place especially, is immense since COVID. Immense.
How's Uber Eats and Skip the Dishes and all those things?
Yeah.
Is that
I call it is it's a necessary evil.
Right. I thought so. I thought it would be because they take a big chunk.
Too much.
I was going to say a plague. But that was going to be nice.
That's too much of our business now. It just is. It's just unfortunate.
Humanity has changed. Do you live around people that Uber Eat all the time?
No.
I do. And it's the strangest thing to me because I make my lunch and I bring it to work and I eat it.
It costs you $4.
And I pay.
And then they're paying $40 for the same thing.
$36, then the delivery and the tip, and you're having a sub.
Or a McDonald's breakfast that arrives 30 minutes or 45 minutes after it was made.
I can't.
And they're paying It's like, what? You can't make an egg?
Nope. Nope.
Put in toast?
So either they use their time to a much better way than I do, or they just haven't clued in that you can actually make it yourself, and it's probably more healthier. It's probably, like it's obviously economical.
Oh, we're old men. Oh, these young whippersnappers.
That's a strange thing working with young people, is that the habits that they've changed too.
We've kind of gone the opposite way a little bit with the mindset of that, because we know that these people are out there that don't do this, but they also don't want to go to the grocery store, get a bunch of green onions, a head of lettuce, a tomato, a cucumber.
Right. They don't want to cook.
And make a salad and maybe a bag of pasta and a tomato sauce, right? They got to buy all that, and then there's going to be all this excess.
Leftover excess, yeah.
And then are they going to eat it the next day or make something out of it that's good or rejumble it together again, right? So we kind of look at it going, especially when we're increasing pricing, for example, like I have a hard time with it because I don't want to price ourselves out, and it's kind of this balancing act to, but you're going, hey, they gotta, just put it that way. Think about it that way. The owner would tell me, right? Think about it that way. They got to go buy this and buy this. I understand there's value to that, of course, time and energy, but they're building places and condos without kitchens in them now.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So that's the way it's going, and we have to stay on board, or we will not be around.
Right.
With regards
I mean,
to that.
you
or
have
find our own way through.
You have to
somehow.
adapt.
Yes.
To the environment.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we started with, was that the pulse.
Ability to, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun, Blake.
Yeah.
Good.
How do you feel after us picking your brain?
Funny. I don't know. It's like,
it's different.
Yeah.
You get used to it. It becomes more normal. We'll have you back.
Yeah.
There's more to discuss on many topics.
It's good to do. It's good to do because you don't normally have an opportunity unless it's with just really close friends, but just to have it. You guys got to send me a copy so I can listen when you're done.
Well, someday they'll go online and you can just listen to it on
that. Share
channel.
it with all your friends, so we could have like 7 maybe listeners. Yay!
Well, rock and roll. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Blake. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys.
Good times.
Good times. All right. Hold on. Read on.
This isn't just coffee, it's the undisputed anthem of St. Jacob's, a rich, bold brew that bursts with the untamed spirit of our community. We've crafted a blend that doesn't just honor the village, it embodies its very character, standing strong and proud just like the people who call this place home. With every creamy dessert-like sip, you'll taste the sweet harmony that brings us all together. It's a real crowd pleaser, designed to ignite conversation and forge connections no matter how you brew it. This is the flavor of our village, shared amongst friends, family, and newcomers alike.